Okay, so I purposely kind of left my microphone in a jumbled state so that I can show you how I set up my microphone for recordings. Again, you're going to need headphones. This is something I forgot about in our essential equipment list. We need headphones so that we can monitor, okay? Don't have your headphones too loud while recording, otherwise your microphone might actually pick it up, right? Bad etiquette is having the preamp too loud, headphones too loud, and then you're picking up all this nasty noise. You don't want that, right? You'll get better in time. So what I like to do with my microphone is I like to have it in a way that inspires me. So I like to have it upside down. Doesn't increase the sound quality. The positioning does. But I also like to have what we call a pop filter. This is something I wanted to show you, right? So a pop filter is pretty much a stocking, right? It's a circular thing that is basically gonna help large volumes of air not hit the diaphragm of the microphone. Since the diaphragm of the microphone is very sensitive, P sounds, I'll do it right now, those sounds are very much degrading to your overall taste, right? Our job as engineers is to have flat, clear sounding recordings that we can manipulate later. Okay, so I like to have my pop shield up. It is generally a good starting point to have one fist away. Hopefully you can see that. One fist's worth away from the diaphragm is going to be a really good place to be at. So let's just kind of adjust that in there. Boom, there we go. Now, when it comes to actually positioning our microphone, we want to make use of microphone positioning as if it is an EQ. Now, I know if you're a beginner, that might be a bit complicated. So I want you to just think of it like this. The closer I get to my microphone, right, the more bassy it is going to sound. So the more close I get, the bassier it sounds, right? The further back I sound, the less bassy it begins to sound, right? So we want to have the proximity effect. We want to make use of the proximity effect to kind of figure out how we like to, or how we like our voice to sound, right? So that's the first thing, is how far what distance are we using to record at, right? So once you figure that out, great. I like to have it around here. I'm generally going to come quite close up. That's why we've got this kind of fist's worth of space here, so that we can, be reasonably close to the microphone, but also still not be too close where we kind of create too much of a kind of over, I don't know, just a overly bassy sound, right? So there's that. Now there's also the positioning of up and down, right? Now, ideally, my rule of thumb is that when you go lower, you're going to be picking up more of the chest resonances. Now, that is going to give you a much more bassy and much more low MIDI sounding vocal. Some people like that, right? You may want that vibe for your song. But for me personally, I like to have my microphone right in the middle, kind of where the bottom of my nose is, where my mustache is, right? Too high up, again, too much treble, right? We're going to be picking up too much S sound. So I'm going to adjust the microphone right now, and then you can see where I'm going to leave it at. So right around there should be sufficient. It must also feel good, right? But you must also not adjust it to the point where it feels good but doesn't sound good. So you want to find a balance. So for me personally, this is probably quite comfortable. I like to record sitting down. I would recommend, if you're a beginner, to stand up, especially when you're learning to project your voice. Because when you're standing up, you can actually speak naturally, whereas when you're sitting, you might slack a little bit in certain, parts of your takes or whatever, right? So this for me is perfect. I want it to be comfortable again. A little trick, right, that I'm going to show you, I'm going to let you in on, is to actually not always have to record up front, right? You want to record kind of off to the side, because that way then you're not going to have that direct sound, and you're kind of going to naturally smooth off your voice. So that's what I like to do. Now let's look into the levels, right? So you can see on the screen right there, we've been talking. I'm just going to hop over